John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. Today I'm going to talk about credit inquiries and their influence on credit scores. So basically everything there is to know about credit inquiries all localized into a 5-minute video, which obviously is a joke because that's impossible. But I'm gonna do my best to explain as much as there can be known about inquiry. So what is an inquiry? It's simply put, an inquiry is a record of access into your credit report. Every time your credit report is accessed by somebody, the credit reporting agencies are actually required, it's not a choice, it's a requirement, pursuant to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, to maintain a record of the access so that you, the consumer, can see, hey, someone's looking at my credit report, so I want to know who is accessing my credit report. So that's actually a right that consumers have, is to see who has pulled their credit report. So what about inquiries? The noun inquiry, what exactly is an inquiry? An inquiry, you can tell I'm driving through Atlanta streets because they're junk. An inquiry is simply a record of the access, and the way it's going to be displayed on a credit report is going to be the name of the company and the date. And that's it. There's some coding hard-coded within the inquiry to identify the industry from which the lender or whatever the party is from, but that's pretty much it. So kind of the tip of the sword, the practical deliverable of the inquiry is the name of the company and the date that they pulled the report. So do all inquiries affect credit scores? Absolutely not. It is not generally known. It is not generally thought. It is not generally accepted that all inquiries lower credit scores. That is factually inaccurate. Can some inquiries lower your credit score? Yes. Do all inquiries lower credit scores? No. Are a lot of inquiries ignored by credit scoring systems? Yes. So it is important that we kind of distinguish and clean up some myths, because there are some people who kind of pretend to be credit experts who will, go down swinging with this idea that all inquiries lower credit scores. So that's definitely not accurate. In fact, when I was at FICO, I think we even published some research that indicated that like either 2/3 or 3/4 of all inquiries on credit reports that were fair game, meaning that the scoring system could actually see them, were ignored by scoring systems. Actually, more inquiries are not influential on credit scores than the percentage of inquiries that are influential. So let's kind of draw a line of delineation here. So there's two types of inquiries, hard inquiries and soft inquiries. A hard inquiry generally occurs, obviously there's some exceptions, but generally occurs when a consumer applies for some form of credit. Like, for example, if you apply for a credit card or if you apply for an auto loan, that's generally going to lead to an inquiry that shows up on your credit report as a hard inquiry. And one of the other myths is that somehow the lender codes their inquiry as a hard inquiry. That's not how it works. Again, it illustrates a lack of understanding of how credit reporting works. When you as a lender sign up for your account with the credit bureaus assign you your inquiry coding, and you have no ability as a lender to modify that. So when you essentially access the credit reporting system, you're required to use the same coding that the credit bureaus assigned for you when they opened your account. And that inquiry is hard-coded to be either a hard inquiry or a soft inquiry. So it's not something that, a lender can't accidentally put a hard inquiry when they should have put a soft inquiry. That's not how it works. So that's number one. Soft inquiries have no influence on scores because they're not seen by scoring systems. Number two, hard inquiries that are older than 12 months aren't seen because credit scoring systems, those built by FICO and VantageScore, are programmed to ignore inquiries that are older than 12 months. So you can have 1,000 of them. They're not influential at all because they're not even seen because they're older than 12 months. So let's talk about the ones that are actually less than 12 months that are hard. Those are the ones that do have the capability of lowering your credit score. Are they all equal to X number of points? No, that's not how credit scores work. Information on your credit report does not have a unique value in your score. It doesn't work like that. Generally speaking, however, if you've got a ton of inquiries, that is going to lead to a lower score relative to you having fewer or no inquiries. No one's going to argue that that's not true because that is true. But how would you know? How would you know if the inquiry lowered your score? In order to know for sure, you have to do an analysis. Just like if you want to understand the influence of anything, you have to study it. You can't just speculate that it did just because it might. It's called an impact analysis. An impact analysis is actually a legitimate scientific process whereby you calculate a consumer's credit score with some offensive item on their credit report, and then you recalculate your score with the offensive item not on the credit report. And if there was delta in the two scores, then you can attribute the delta to the offensive item. It's called an impact analysis. In the absence of that analysis, it's rank speculation that an inquiry had some sort of influence on the score. So, and even if it did, inquiries in the grand scheme of the things is the lowest factor in your score. If you think of it kind of as a pizza, it's the smallest slice of the pizza. It's almost meaningless in your score, and certainly would never be the reason you were denied credit because of the influence on your score of an inquiry. If you've got a bad credit score, I can assure you it's not because you have a few inquiries, it's because you have other things that are kind of larger slices of pie in that pizza. So if you have any other questions about inquiries, drop them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk again soon. See you later.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.